This episode of the Coarse Grind Podcast has been brought to you by Central Sports and Graphics Incorporated, family-owned and operated screen printing and embroidery business located in a historic storefront on Old Berwick Road in the heart of Espy. They've been doing screen printing for over 20 years. They have high-quality product at a low price. Be sure to check them out. Central Sports and Graphics Incorporated, 570-784-1212. Now, on to the show.
Hi, this is Stephen Reichlands from Project Fire and Project Smoke, and you're listening to Shawn Rosler on the Coarse Grind Podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. This is episode number 130 of the Coarse Grind Podcast. With you again this evening, host creator Shawn Rosler. How is everyone doing tonight? What can I say? When life hands you negative things, I don't know, like a pandemic, you've got really two choices, right? You can either, one, sit and wallow, or two, do something with that creative energy. Sure. Those of you who know the show and know me know what route I pick, and probably pick in most areas of life. And let's just say all the great feedback we've gotten here at the show lately has made the choice even easier. It's time for another COVID panel with local and national culinary standouts. As things slowly but surely start to open up, where do we stand? Where will we end up when this is all said and done? And honestly, what does that or will that even look like? Again, I say this at the start of every COVID panel, folks. It's a little more serious because there's a lot at stake here, but I think what you're going to find is that there are more answers that are starting to take form, and that's great. They're not all there yet, but they will be. I could sit here all evening, though, and make up these answers. To be fair, I do talk to myself a lot, even answer some of my own questions sometimes, don't you? Yes, you do, Shawn. This pandemic's getting to all of us a little bit, I suppose. I know I'm not the guy to go to for these answers, but as I look back over our roster of rock stars, and I look at my wall and see people in the friggin' show shirt, which is awesome still, and I handpicked the guests for yet another COVID panel, it's pretty clear I'd be getting the answers tonight from some of the best in the business. I'll leave the brilliance to them, and as been the case, just do the question asking. Ladies and gentlemen, and everyone in between, my guests for this evening, Chef Casey Thompson of Top Chef and ChefCaseyThompson.com, Chef Tarran Hatton, Shop Champion and Executive Pastry Chef of Bliss Bomb, Shannon Maria Brower, Beer Mistress with Dashing Rogue, and the owner of Bright Spot Cafe and Highbrow Event Group, and Chef Keith Breedlove, the official chef of the California State Fair, and the force behind all things culinary. Folks, thank you so much for being here this evening.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Woohoo!
Absolutely. So this is now where I kind of have to play ringmaster, so that we can get the answers that we're looking for and get a good discussion on it. And again, my role here tonight, folks, is to kind of get in and get out. Like this is yours to discuss. And I know this has been both professional and personal. I mean, right off the bat, Tarran. I say this with all the knowledge in my mind, but what has your experience been with COVID?
Oh, God. We're here in New York City, so we're right at the epicenter of it in New York, and it's been really fascinating. I've kind of gotten hit with it on all fronts because I got COVID-19. We were supposed to launch literally the same week. So March 1st was supposed to be our launch date, and then we made the decision to shelter in place about a week prior to the official notice from New York City.
Yeah.
And then following that, we kind of had to remodel a little bit of our business plan and figure things out just to kind of get back in the game once we got through it. So it's been real fun.
Yeah. And see,
in quarantine.
This is what I love about you. You gloss over the fact that you had COVID, like holy shit, like
right,
and you're not the first one. Josie Malave was on, and if any of you follow her, she had it, and she dropped that on the panel, and so like the rest of us were sitting here like, what do we do with that? So it's this wide-reaching thing.
You wear a mask asking you to stay safe and stay inside.
That's right. Stay your ass inside. Wash your hands. So before we get down that road too far, for folks who maybe weren't here the first pass, for you, my fabulous former guests, and now current guests, two-timers, I'd like to go around the room and just kind of reintroduce yourself, who you are, what you do, and where you're from. So, Keith, can we start with you, buddy?
Yeah, I'm Keith Breedlove.
Sean?
Yeah. Hey, Keith, can you speak up a little bit, buddy?
Yeah, let me switch off the...
Hello?
All right, that better?
That's much better.
Yay!
Hey, there we go.
Yay! Sorry, hands-free stuff sucks sometimes. So, yeah, I'm Keith Breedlove. I'm from Sacramento, California. 3-year, the official chef of the California State Fair. Own the food truck, the Culinary Cruiser. Currently, with all this stuff going on, I had a restaurant for the past year, had to close it because of all of this, and I'm currently rebuilding a virtual food court where out of a friend's catering company closed down, and we took over the facility where they have a full catering kitchen and tables and all that. We decided that, I like to cook a lot of different things, so you go to one website and there's 8 different styled restaurants that you could choose from, all coming out of the same kitchen. Kind of biting on a thing that Eric Greenspan's doing down there in LA. So,
Nice.
Try to keep myself from getting too bored.
Nice. All right, awesome. Thanks, Keith. And Casey, let's throw it over to you. Tell the listeners who you are, where you're from, and what you do.
Hi, guys. I'm Chef Casey Thompson. I'm currently of Sonoma, California. I just moved here from Napa, just over the hill. But I'm a former Top Chef contestant, season 3 and 7 and 14. I just simply could not get enough. Never did take home that title. But nonetheless, here I am. But honestly, I moved over to Sonoma to open a restaurant right before all this COVID stuff went down, and we were super gung-ho. We were in the process of opening about 100-seat restaurant in this really beautiful setting, and then also at the same time, simultaneously, a butcher shop and a chicken and a biscuit place, kind of some smaller things, but all together at the same time. And so all of this just came to a screeching halt. But I think you find, silver linings, hopefully, if you can sort of find that inside. And we actually kind of felt like we were maybe traveling at too fast of a pace, and so it gave us a second to breathe, and sort of get caught up, which is absolutely great. And really, fortunately, we had not opened our doors yet, because I have just heartbreakingly watched so many of my chef friends that have restaurants fold them because they know that they honestly will never open them again, or were kind of looking for an out and just thought, well, this is our chance. And then also watch the government try to hand them these, useless packages.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Close to home.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure.
Well,
And
Garnish on that
just
shit.
nightmare stories one after another that I keep hearing, but I will say that I have always known how tough chefs are, because we have hard jobs. These are not for the faint of heart. Physically, mentally, it's exhausting. But then you tack on something like this, and just to watch their resiliency has truly just made me fall in love with this all over again.
Yeah. I think that's a massive point right there. And I get to be this passive participant and listen to the stories, and like Hosea, I just had back on, and he's talking about what he's doing out in Black Belly and with Santo, and it's not. It literally is. I think everything for a layperson like myself, where it's this casual love affair with things culinary, and I mean, it really is. To watch you guys not fold but become superheroes almost now, it's a really remarkable thing. So that's awesome. And again, I want to go on record as saying that I was Casey Thompson's first podcast. I want to put that out there. I want everyone to know that, okay?
It's true.
I'm putting that out there.
That was fun.
Awesome. Hey, thanks, Casey. Shannon Maria Brower, let's throw it over to you. Who are you? What do you do? You were Shannon Maria Jones, though, previously.
I was on the other episodes, but I grew up and got married.
Oh, look at you.
My husband has been a restaurateur and bar owner in the greater Philadelphia area for 25 years. I started working for him 3 days after I met him. He proposed on the first date. We were totally those, we met on Bumble, but that's sexy. But the great news is, if you listen to my history, I don't have experience in the restaurant world that normal people do. I was doing Dashing Rogue. I was an in-home chef. I was doing beer pairings and rocking it out, but I was, 10 people at a time. And once I met him, my world opened up.
Yep.
And so now we have Bright Spot Cafe. We do breakfast and lunch in Exton, Pennsylvania. We're the Browers, so we're the highbrow event group. We do full-service events throughout the whole Philadelphia area.
Nice.
And Dashing Rogue is never going away. And if anything, we kind of found our niche, because as the world slowly starts to embrace gatherings again, they have to be controlled. So that whole idea of the in-home beer pairing dinner, all of a sudden I'm like, wow, there's a market for what I've been doing in a great, safe way to bring people together. Yeah, so
for sure.
I am not a chef. I like to call myself a well-reviewed, a cook that goes into people's homes. My knowledge is far different than the chef experience. But that doesn't mean I love food any less. It just means I probably don't understand the intricacies of where it comes from quite as well as the people who live it every day.
Amen. Awesome, Shannon. And Tarran, over to you, Bliss Bomb. And I have to plug Bliss Bomb shamelessly again. Tarran was so sweet after our first episode. She hooked me up with one of the best pandemic gifts ever, a do-it-yourself donut kit. And we did it this morning, and the kids were vibrating through the walls. So thanks for that, Tarran. I really appreciate it.
I'm glad that I could keep them occupied before they went off.
Yes, absolutely. Who are you? What do you do? And where are you from?
Hey, guys. So my name is Tarran Hatton. I am a pastry chef from Brooklyn, and I very recently launched my brand with my partner, Bliss Bomb. It's a miniature luxury donut brand based out of Red Hook, and we did this in the middle of the COVID-19 pandemic. So it's been really fun. We had to rejigger things a little bit. Our whole philosophy behind Bliss Bomb is that we're mostly about experiences with products. So we want to help people make many moments of joy and bliss with people who enrich and inspire them. Mm-hmm. We got very lucky because, like Casey, we had not opened our doors yet to the public, so there was no revenue to lose by staying closed. So when this hit New York, we work with very vulnerable people because we sublease a kitchen space, and our immediate response was just to shut the doors, refocus ourselves on recreating things, figuring out where we could go moving forward, how we could create new experiences. And it's super funny, Shawn, that you bring up the DIY donut kit, because we initially had spent months formulating these birthday parties, these donut decorating birthday parties for both kids and bachelorettes, just anytime you want to get together with some people to celebrate and create something. Yeah. And we had just literally dotted the I's, crossed the T's when the company that we were going to be working with, the Great Room in Brooklyn, had to also shutter their doors. So when we had one of our initial planning strategies, we were trying to figure out how we could still bring some joy to people while they were locked inside. And so the DIY donut kit kind of formed out of that.
It was born out of necessity, as they say.
Yeah, pretty much, and it's super funny because you're still in our alpha beta trials here because
nice.
We've never done this before. We were like, well, you know what people need more than they need, luxury donuts. Yeah. They want to do something to keep their kids busy. about a month and a half before we finally, after I had my birthday in quarantine, realized that the experience of a birthday is very important now more than ever, and feeling connected with loved ones should be easier and exciting and sort of customizable. So
yeah,
we decided that, with all safety precautions in place, we were just going to make it so that other people could have their celebrations at home, and we could hopefully facilitate that.
I love it. I love it.
I love everything about that. That's awesome.
I know, right? It's so smart.
The pastry to begin with.
Yeah, and like, I really think that's the kind of nimble, like, if I think about my real 9-to-5 job that I do is e-learning, and, some of the project management we do, you have to be nimble, you have to be able to pivot. This is the true textbook definition of pivot. But, Casey, let me throw this over to you. We're in it now, obviously. We're going on 2 months really neck deep in this stuff. Can you tell me what your thoughts were when you first heard of COVID's potential impact? Like, what was that scene? Where were you, and what did you think at that time?
Well, I'm a die-hard, avid news watcher. If you're in my house, it's on the television, and I just keep it on constantly. My other half always makes fun of me because he's like, it's on in every room. But I definitely was aware of what was happening. Kind of like I felt this wave coming on, and it seemed extremely scary, and I was unsure of how this was all going to go. But to be perfectly honest, I don't think I realized the impact on the restaurants. Like, I just wasn't thinking that. I was thinking hospitals, where are we going to get the gear, where are all these people going to go? That's kind of your first thought. And your second thought is like, I don't want to get it, and that's it. So that you kind of stop there, and then when New York started rumbling, that was absolutely terrifying. And then to watch them have to like go inside, I thought, oh my God, like this is crazy. And then to watch it kind of trickle across the U.S. and then get to what I knew was going to be L.A. next. And then I saw San Francisco, and then I thought, well, Napa, Sonoma, we're all getting it. Yep. And then, and so, watching that happen, I started to hear the stories of like, well, what are these restaurants going to do? Like, if everybody has to stay inside. And then it hit me, I thought, oh God, like this is terrible. Yeah. But I did not realize the impact that it was actually going to have on the restaurants, and how the restaurant industry is the one industry that's been hit the hardest. Yep. How is that even possible?
It's terrible. It's terrible.
And also knowing that those were my friends and this was my career, it's terrifying.
Well, that's it. I mean, you all are such a tight-knit group to begin with. And so to not only have you realize, like, oh shit, this is me, and this is my brothers and sisters in arms in this industry. Like, it really is just this massive tidal wave of impact.
Right.
Crazy.
Look, all I know is that when I started to hear my chef friends talk about how they, one of them laid off 100 employees in a day. Yep. She was crying, talking about how these people had been with them for 8 years, and they were just finding the stride in their restaurant for the first time, because this is how long it takes to make them perfect, Yeah. To hear that was heartbreaking.
I'm sure.
And there's really nothing you can do because there's no help. They would try to call on the government lines, and they couldn't get through. They would just start leaning on each other, which became the only way that we're getting through this, to find out, how did you get through? And then kind of what my friends found out, which was, it was incredible to listen to all this, but they found out that a lot of the bigger banks weren't loaning the money. If they went to a smaller bank, like somebody's like, I went to a bank down in Monterey and I got money. Or I went to a bank, down, somewhere tiny, and I got the money. But if you were at a Bank of America, maybe you weren't going to get the money. Like, that's insane.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
So I think with
all of that is scary.
Yeah,
what folks don't always realize is, like, there's no glory in it. Like, it feels great to shake someone's hand and say, yeah, I own such and such. But what brings me joy, what gives me hope, is seeing the people that I know that we give jobs to.
Yeah.
Like, right, I know that at the end of the day, I'm taking home 17 cents an hour or whatever it comes out to.
Right.
But I take pride in employing other people. And so when you have to say, I'm sorry to them, when you have to say, we're going to try, like, it's just heartbreaking.
Yeah.
I wasn't ready for that part of it. Like, I could see the business model changing. I could see that we had to pivot how we were serving the public. Like, I could find a way to still serve our consumer and the people that love us. Yeah. But the people that are showing the love, they're the ones that I didn't want to let down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was the toughest part for me, was just like, you've given your heart and soul to this place. And I know that you love it as much as we do. But I don't know what to say for your schedule tomorrow. Like, that was rough.
Yeah, that's it's not something, I've heard said so many times. Well, it's a pandemic is nothing you can plan for. I think there's more of a human element, and it's what you just said, Shannon. It's like interactions like that you have to have. They're a necessity.
Yeah,
they are a necessity. Keith, I know your feelings run strong and deep as far as the way the government has kind of plugged in and quote unquote helped out. When was your oh shit moment? Like, what did that look like? When was it that you realized, like, oh shit, this is going to hit hard?
Well, like Casey, as a matter of fact, Casey's Twitter feed is one of my favorite sources of entertainment.
People do watch. That's awesome.
Dude, I don't think you realize how much.
I need to get Twitter.
Yeah.
Well, I had to back off.
Uh-oh.
I had to back off.
You had to back off, Casey?
Because I can't.
The biggest rift in me and my family. Like, they're all Trump supporters, and it's been one of those things where, like, every day they're like, well, you're Trump obsessed. I'm like, no, like, I'm living in this, and you're not understanding it, and why? And they all live in Florida now, too, of course. I just feel like
I'm in
the entire pandemic,
California.
Yep.
Digging my head into a brick wall.
Yeah.
Yep.
But sorry to like diverge on that, but that was a little bit trigger right there.
No, so
it's real.
So now we know Casey's Twitter feed is the most popular right now. So we should all go and we should all check
Casey's
out
Twitter feed is fun. If I want to have somebody rile up, it's good.
Exactly.
I totally agree with it. So what for us was we were already kind of looking at some downturn in the restaurant. We were having, it's just the usual, not enough money, poor location, blah, 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 blah. But years ago, I was in the Santa Clara market working at Intel, and I was still on their mailing list for the Santa Clara Health Department's, public notices and all that. And around the first week of March, when they had the very first death down there in Santa Clara, and it was attributed to community spread, the chief down there, the head of the public health department, was the one that advocated for all the closures in the Bay Area, and it was in that message. My wife and I were talking. I'm like, dude, they're going to shut everything down. This thing is no joke. Mm-hmm. And we were looking at whether, could we survive? Could we hold off? Or we just made the decision, no. There's no way we could survive if we had to close, because we're barely making it as it is. We were running ridiculously close and just bad, that's little we ran into, and we're just like, we're not going to survive this. And now that we come out of it, we closed the restaurant for good and just kind of figuring out the next step. And
I'm sorry.
You know what, though? I had a great year. We had a great year.
All right. Sorry about that, folks. Keith, you were saying about having a great year?
Well, yeah, we did. We had a good time with the restaurant. We learned a lot. We grew. We met great fans, great friends. And, and we had to close it. And unfortunately, that's how lifespan of restaurants tends to work sometimes. But I think we got kind of fortunate in that just before, kind of had a heads up almost. paying attention, like Casey said, if you're paying attention to what the news was telling us on the beginning of March, you saw it coming. You knew what was going to happen.
Yeah.
It was an inevitability that it was going to happen. And a lot of the chefs in Sacramento here saw the same thing and started putting stuff in place. Like, we've got great community of people here. I've worked all over the state. I've never had a community of culinarians like we have here in Sac.
That's awesome.
So it's been pretty awesome.
That's awesome,
yeah,
man.
I will say that California, I mean, again, I live in California, and I have to, I'm from Texas, so I hear a lot of both sides, believe. But I feel like California really, maybe we did get a chance to see that wave coming, and I felt like our state went on a little bit of a lockdown, and we got prepared, and I feel like it's worse. I'm not saying we have 0 cases, but I'm saying, we sheltered immediately, and Gavin is not letting anybody out. Like, he is not having it. So maybe that's the right call, maybe it's the wrong call, but it's working.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, it's
the right call.
Yeah, it's I don't know that we can know wrong or right.
You can't trust them.
But it's a call. Like, it's actually committing to something, and I've seen that. And Cuomo in New York, Tarran, he's a stand-up dude.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like these guys are not. The thing that makes me trust, like with Newsom and stuff, is that it's not politically fortuitous for him to do what he did. I mean, but
he's making a lot of enemies.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and the thing is he's making enemies from the people that want us all to go back to work because we make them their money.
Yep.
Right. Oh shit! I never thought about the weirdness of California versus North in the whole stay-at-home order, and the fact that you guys have all these tech companies.
Yep.
And
they're getting pissed too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, the thing about the tech companies is that, and they're learning interesting things too. That they're learning that they can operate out of home. People that they can work from home. So, there will be some positives that come out of this. Unfortunately, not to our industry. Our industry in California is going to be decimated. It's going to take years for this industry to recover.
Yeah.
Especially if you're looking at, they can reopen. Some counties and things have been able to reopen, but you open it at 25 to 50% capacity.
Yeah.
You tell me one restaurant that can survive on that.
Yeah.
My old joint.
No, the overhead is so low.
Yep.
With my old joint, sorry. Oh, go ahead.
I'm not sure if any of my diatribe about community aid got caught before we cut out.
No, I
think we missed it.
Okay.
Catch me up.
All right. So basically, all I was saying prior, in response to specifically, is that in New York, the thing that's given me the most hope and the most light is that community aid, as restaurant industry folks, we've literally always been there for one another. When my best friend, like my wifey, when she got hit by a car as a bicyclist, the bar community came together and we were able to raise enough money to cover all of her hospital fees, all of her lost wages. I did not have to worry at all. So girl, she's like that friend. I love her. Sorry, low quickest. She's my best friend. I love her to death. Our very existence was reliant upon one another. She got hit by a car, and it was not because of the government that she got taken care of. It was because everybody came together and distributed what little funds we have in this pandemic in New York, especially. Just all of the community aid has been so heartwarming and so lovely to the point that I've been trying to think of a meaningful thing, and even I donated my entire beer collection just to get it auctioned off to put proceeds towards the Undocumented Workers Fund, which I'm just going to use this podcast to point out real quick. A lot of us thankfully can get government aid during this hard time. A lot of people can't.
That's a great point.
The Undocumented Workers Fund is doing a really great job of making sure that our friends who keep our restaurants running are able to survive through this just as well as we can.
Yeah.
But
say,
I'm so happy to see people taking care of one another, and it sucks that it's not translating elsewhere.
Yeah,
so my
again, it's positivity. Go ahead.
Thanks, Shawn.
No, go ahead, Shawn.
It's changed. So versus the first week or so when this all started to now, the tips have plummeted. So at the beginning, they were over the moon, like generous, because so I'm in Pennsylvania, when our government first shut down, they said 2 weeks. Now we know it wouldn't be 2 weeks. We knew that, but it's palatable to say 2 weeks. So, the human brain can comprehend 2 weeks. Okay, 2 weeks. So when that started, the tips were literally at 40, 45, 50%. Now we do things, and if we get 5%, it's lucky.
Jesus.
So we're still trying to keep people. We're still trying to pay people. We're still trying to, but the tips have dropped off considerably. Likewise, we've been doing tons of meals for frontline workers. We match them dollar for dollar. In the first, people are saying, I want to take care of them. I know it's bad. I know it sucks. Whatever. Yeah. So again, we're just covering our costs, but at least we're still serving food. We're still employing people. We're still doing all those things. We can keep doing that. And now it's trickled off to it's a couple $100 a week.
Do we think that people scared?
That's a great point. That is a really great point. Yep.
You know what I mean? At the beginning, if it was short term and they only have so much savings or whatever, I don't know at the beginning if it's just that people are giving because their hearts are giving, and then they're looking at their bank accounts and they're pulling back. I don't know. People are scared because now they're saying, how many months do we have to do this?
Right.
But
there's also a second wave of furloughs.
Oh, yeah, it's going to trickle out.
So people that felt like they were safe at the beginning, like myself included, I was getting really hard. And then there was, for a lot of my friends who work in offices, there was a second wave of furloughs after month one where they were like, yeah, we tried to keep you on for work from home while we could do it, but now we can't. So sorry, see you, bye. So a lot of those people ended up also on unemployment, if they managed to get it. Yep. Because we're such an efficient country.
Yeah.
One of my girlfriends, she is still employed. She makes a really good salary, and she has a home mortgage and all the bills that go with it. But so I'm doing cooking classes right now. They're $50, but $50 goes per person to our community outreach. We're doing the meals and we're giving them away for free. Yeah. So it's a lot of money to ask of people, but I feel like you're getting a 4-course meal and a show and and a recipe and everything.
That's entirely reasonable. That's a very
absolutely.
I think there's some that are asking for 100, and I cannot stomach that. So I'm just asking for 50. But there's a restaurant in town that's doing at the local restaurant, so they don't do the national reach that I'm trying to do, but they are doing. We'll do a Facebook Live recipe, and you come pick up the ingredients, and it's $25. So she's like, somebody goes and buys it for me. I don't have to go to the store. It's $25. I feel like I can afford that, and it feeds 4 people, and so I've got leftovers. Yeah. And so she's like, I'm sorry, but I'm scared. I'm not going to have a job, and I can do 25. I can't do 50. So it is crazy what people are getting scared over.
Yeah.
But it's legit because we made the news locally because our governor shut down our state, again, Pennsylvania, on Monday. And for that Saturday, we got approval from our landlord to do a drive-in. I don't even know how it came up. But I was like, what if we had girls out there on roller skates and we were doing all the, that was newsworthy. We literally had news crews to cover the fact that we were delivering hamburgers to cars.
I need to know what this restaurant is, by the way.
Absolutely. We'll chat offline. I got you. It's Bright Spot Cafe in Exton. Yeah. It's so much fun. People freaking love it. But we started doing that. It was an awesome opportunity. But fast forward 2 months later, how do you know that all of a sudden the price of beef has tripled? So we're still selling the same hamburger for $4.
Yep.
And I'm like, it's $5.90 a pound. We can't do it anymore.
Nope.
So, like, at this point, now we're paying all this labor cost, all the bread costs, the food costs, whatever. We're getting good publicity in the community, but it's hard to explain to these folks who are now also struggling for their dollars and where to spend them. Like, do you want to go to the Wendy's and spend $4 on a hamburger? Can you come to a local place and spend $4? I can barely afford to sell it to you for $4. Like,
well, I'm going to tell you,
to get them to understand that we're suffering the way they're suffering.
Well, I'm just going to tell you what my opinion is. This would be me on Twitter.
I love it. I'm follow you. This is okay.
My opinions are not always warranted, and that's why I call Twitter my dark place, because I go there and I'm just like, here you go. Here's I'm mad. It's 3 a.m, I'm just pissed off. But so here's what the problem is, and I've got it in a nutshell. I mean, if anybody wants to come and ask me, then I've got it. It's because we're so freaking unorganized, and there is no one running the show. So there are no answers. There is no plan. And so, beef is up. Why? Because the facilities are open because they all have COVID. Why? Because we've asked them to stay open, and we're letting them get sick. And so distribution is messed up. I mean, everything is a shit show. Why? Because we weren't prepared.
I'm literally standing on my desk right now, clapping for you. Like,
begin with prior to a pandemic.
Yep.
Yes, but come on.
It's akin to like what the chickens are already experiencing in these plants, and I'm a very, very carnivorous human. I have no problem with eating it, but like what happens to the humans in those facilities on top of what happens to the animals is like horrific.
Yeah.
So it was no surprise that everybody in their like triangle shirtwaist factory style was going to go down.
Oh yeah, where they live is not great.
Trying to take care of things. By take care of things, I mean make sure he can get a quarter pounder every day delivered to his bed. But
But I think if you look big picture, we go into this industry because we want to take care of people. The way we choose to take care of people is making sure that they are happy, healthy, well-fed, that everything they're enjoying is making their lives better. So we go, truly, if you're going to boil it down, we are going into this industry because we want to make people happy. We want to take care of them. We want to make their lives a better place. And there is somehow a disconnect. Like, we can't make magic where you can't. If you're going to the grocery store and you can't get meat, what makes you think we can get meat? Like, just, simplest forms, right?
Yeah.
So we want to do this for you if we can.
Yeah.
But when my reps are saying, hey, can you just pivot and serve seafood because we have seafood? Like, what the heck? When did they ever say scallops are cheaper? Just sell those. Like, what's the world become?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, all right.
I've been able to get like fresh lemon juice in weeks.
Jesus. So, like, we take all this, all right, and this is where we're at. I'm interested to know, and Keith, I'll throw it over to you. How we talk a lot about flattening the curve. We talk a lot about stabilizing. How bad does this get for the industry? Are we as far down as we're going to go, and maybe we start to rebound, or what does this look like in the darkest hour for the restaurant industry?
Well, in my opinion of, quite a few years in this industry as well as multiple different things, it's going to take a lot of time because restaurants are about confidence and then about trust. I mean, you put a lot of trust in somebody when you go into a restaurant to eat. You're putting a trust that they handle the meat properly, they handle everything properly. And right now I think there's enough doubt that we're going to see some serious implications. The living and takeout is going to be a norm for quite some time, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And we're going to see some great people lose their livelihoods for a couple of years. I'm hoping not, man. I really hope I'm wrong, but unfortunately, I think we are the industry that generally bleeds first and bleeds last. We're not. I don't think the restaurant industry is treated with as much respect as we deserve. We're pretty much treated as though we're the hired help, and nobody cares about that. They will when they can leave.
Yeah, but
like you see people
Yeah, I mean, that's a really interesting point. But all right. So
can we build on that in a positive way?
And that was going to be where I was going. You know, sure, we might be viewed as a hired help, but what people are going to want you guys back now in a big way. Go ahead and build on that.
They're going to want
a call with other people who own restaurants. If there's one 4-letter word that makes us all cringe, it's Yelp. All right. So if we can just find a positive way to build on this, it's that. Thank you, slow clap of awesome. That was fantastic. All I'm saying is this: like, people nowadays, unfortunately, thrive on that negative energy, and they look for every negative experience that they can draw on to try to draw people to them. And moving forward now, like, being more united with my fellow restaurant owners, like, can we just try to find a way to mitigate some of the nonsense that those extremists of the internet have put on our lap? Like, is there a way that we could just... I've seen some absolutely beautiful posts that are like, hey, I'm not kidding you, my one and only one gripe for Mother's Day of our, 67 pre-ordered Mother's Day buffets, of everyone who complained, it was that person who came a day and a half after the cutoff who decided to call in and say, can you do X, Y, and Z for me? They're the ones who called in and said it was wrong. Like, they're the loud, squeaky wheels that are going to get themselves hurt. I am hoping that there's a way for us to unite, to say, hey, guys, you're not the end-all, be-all. You are not actually all Food Network critics who get to pretend like you know what you're talking about.
Right?
Let's all unite together and say, like, you have to have realistic expectations. We're all willing to acknowledge when we've fallen short. We absolutely are. Like, we know first. We know before you acknowledge it. We know when we failed. We know when it wasn't our best. We absolutely do. But could you please stop raking us over the coals in public when your napkin wasn't folded properly? Could you please?
Oh, it goes far beyond that.
Karen, man, and I feel like the Karen meme is the only thing that's really going to correct everything.
It took everything I said. I didn't say Karen, but I tried.
You tried not to say Karen, but we were all thinking it.
I didn't say Karen. I can't believe she still did. It makes me so happy.
Karens are going to Karen, and as Karen,
yes,
who's often called Karen.
Absolutely, absolutely. Keith, what did you have, buddy?
Like that's our fucking our motto, I think, for everyone. I worked in retail before I got into food.
God bless.
So I've pretty much just been abused since the time I was in the working force. But like, they're gonna figure it out at some point, and I think that this retribution is happening, and I think it's one of my favorite things from the pandemic is the upswing of the media and the women with time on their hands. They're just like, I'm not just a name, and it's like, yeah, but you're also a haircut. Like, it's, at least they're finally getting a light shot on their bad behaviors.
Absolutely.
And I'm so sorry that that's happening. Like, I'm too young at this point in the hearing about Yelp reviews to follow what they're saying about the restaurants. But for the most part, I feel like the educated people who know and care can pick out a shitty Yelp comment from, like, a real Yelp comment.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
But I also think that it's important in this time for us to all be showing empathy and care and understanding that, like, some shit's not going to be fine.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry. You ordered, like, fried chicken to be delivered to your house. It's going to maybe be a little bit soggy because it was delivered and you couldn't sit in my restaurant.
Exactly.
My favorite is because I'm breakfast lunch, right? So they want some Benedict. My poached eggs were not quite, but no kidding. Your poached eggs drove 15 miles up the road. Like, do you know what a poached egg is?
Yeah.
Let it go.
Let it go. Comb that hair over to the other side of your head. Keith, what were you going to say, buddy?
My biggest fear that I've had, so what we make is miniature donuts. So they're like little would you say 3 or 4 by Sean?
1 if you're me, and I'm awful, so.
But I always, we had signed up obviously for delivery apps, and that's been the bane of my existence recently, but I'm always just terrified of someone not reading, and then being upset when they order 2 donuts, and it's 2 little 4-bite donuts.
Yeah.
And they're like, the donuts are really small for the price, and I'm like, yeah, well, it's, I'm hand squeezing and zesting lemons, and I'm not a Dunkin' Donuts, ma'am.
Right.
The idea is that you get to eat a lot. It's I like a buffet, so I made a donut buffet for you.
Yeah, precisely.
Can't retrain food out there. It's unfortunate. I mean,
I know, but thankfully, those are the same people who are doing this are also the ones who are choosing to not wear masks. So
Exactly.
Oh yeah. So those that are out there saying this whole thing's a hoax. Well, this hoax has cost a lot of us our lives and a lot of us our livelihoods and our families and everything. So, don't get me started.
I had a mild case of it, and it was still the worst experience of my entire life. I went through a year's supply of Xanax in 4 days because every moment was me being terrified of the fact that I was dying.
Mm-hmm.
And if it wasn't for having an anti-anxiety medication and a pulse oximeter, I maybe wouldn't have been able to have rid it out at home.
Jesus.
I can't imagine the illness.
It's the literal worst. Even when a strong immune-resistant human.
That's incredible.
Just going through and being gaslit by doctors is really hard.
Don't you still have some underlying?
Especially.
Well, don't you have some stuff lingering after effects too? I mean, aren't there some damages to your lungs and all that kind of stuff that you still have to deal with?
It's the fucking worst. I literally got through my entire life. So I'm a fat girl. I've always been on the chunky side of things. I've never been a hardcore cardio gal.
You're a food lover. Don't
get You're a normal person?
Oh, no, I mean, even when I wasn't a food lover, I'm just, I'm a thick bitch. It's just,
you're a normal person.
Yeah, thank you. Strong, and I'm resilient, and I'm great for doing things lifting weights and moving things with my legs, but, you tell me to go for a jog and they'll laugh in your face.
I like you. You're my new hero.
It's a food superhero. I love it.
Right? I've had an albuterol inhaler since I was probably 7 or 8 because I grew up with a bunch of smokers and have asthma and, life is not fair. But I've never had to rely on it unless I decided to make the stupid decision to try to go for a jog. And the second that I got sick in the week leading up to it, I suddenly found myself relying on it so hard. To the point that, my prescription was, dead. Thankfully, and also, if anyone's hearing this and you live in New York State, teledoctor appointments are free, and they're giving out inhaler prescriptions, and you can get one delivered by capsule, which is a life changer. And, you can get anything in a minute, and it's incredible. But anyways, I got a fresh albuterol inhaler, and I'm almost out of it, and it's only been 2. Normally, I've gotten an inhaler for a year and a half.
Yeah.
I have an inhaler until I look at it and I realize, this has been expired for a year.
Right,
And now I'm even still, I'm working these. We launched a business at the end of it, and we're getting lots of orders because lots of people have birthdays in quarantine.
Yeah.
And I'm taking my inhaler twice a day because I just need it to get through.
Yeah.
Sure. I think
it really do. It's mono. It's super weak.
You just touched on 100 things in one sentence. Because no, but the same is true. The same is true for everyone with anxiety.
Yep.
Everyone I know with even mild anxiety, they're living with that right now, and no one knows what normal is. So you have to. Everyone's self-medicating, and whether or not it's the right medication, it remains to be seen. But mine's lying a very clinical example. of what the whole world is going through.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, right on. And so, all right. So, it's definitely this big, scary thing, and it could get worse before it gets better. But as it starts to get better, Casey, I'll throw over to you. What does that start to look like? Casey Keith, we'll start in California, because I'm interested. You folks seem to have been ahead of the game from day one. What does better start to look like for you guys out there?
I also work with people that believe we're going to be out and about in no time. Like 2 weeks ago, they were like, "Yeah, this is all over with, so we're ready to move on."
Can I ask what you mean when you say I work with people? Is there a role that they fulfill? When you say
no, like people. I'm opening a restaurant, so there's a lot of people involved. I have partners, I have construction people.
Okay.
And so everyone thinks.
Mm-hmm.
No, because we're not open, I don't have staff.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So for me, we are still feeding the community. And so that's basically where we're going to be at for now until we get this, quote unquote, all opened up. After that, we are still planning for the opening of a restaurant. I did a conversation with someone the other day, talking about what do I feel like that will look like. Do I feel like it's going to be dining back to normal? Do I feel like we're going to have to put plexiglass in front of each other? What is that? And you know what? I don't know the answer to that. And I think the best chance we have at understanding that is looking at other countries that have had successful reopenings and what their model looks like, and kind of going off of that.
So what I hear you saying is we elect a lot of women.
Yeah.
And,
Did you read that article that was like, why is
all
this
the
all this?
testing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we test everything, chase down everything, and we have women running the world. What else you got?
Yeah, that's what they. I just read that article.
Definitely, I think you're going to see people are going to, like you were saying, they're going to rush out and be like, "Oh, we can reopen, we can go back to normal," and then everything's going to get the fan again.
That's what I'm prepared for.
Nothing is going to be normal for quite some time, and unfortunately, a majority of our society doesn't know how to handle that change. It isn't willing to accept that change. I mean, you got these morons that couldn't even take 30 days, in their homes, that somehow think that they're going to survive the apocalypse.
Right.
It's like, bottom line
that's terrifying.
Is I'm not worried about me. I'm not worried about my family. I'm worried about those idiots out there that think that everything's okay. Same thing as when you're driving a car. When you drive a car, you don't drive because you know you're a good driver. It's that other asshole on the road that's not the good driver that they're looking out for.
No, you're right.
And that's what we're going to be dealing with. I firmly believe that dining restaurants are going to take at least a year before you see any of those coming back. And I think,
here's what I have yet. I welcome you guys' ideas on this because I'm really kind of stuck. Dine-in restaurants.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I'm behind you because I feel like the West Coast is always more on the up and up than we are. But I'm very proud of my state. I think we're doing a good job. That being said, so masks are highly encouraged. Each industry and shop owner can decide if it's required or not. But obviously in the restaurant business, you can't require a mask, but you take it off to eat.
Right.
So
and that's what we're going to run into the issue.
Yeah. How do we move into dine-in seating? I'm okay. Like, I feel confident that we're okay from now to September. There's going to be rainy days, there's going to be whatever, but we can see people outside. We can have a really decent service for a while with people sitting out in the open air, and it's not a bad thing. But what happens if the fall comes and we're still operating in this situation? How do you like encourage mask use and eating, and what's the rule, and where does that go? Anyone have an idea? Sorry, Shawn, I didn't mean to usurp you in the question.
No, go get it. Go get it.
No, it's a great question. I'm genuinely terrified of what that really entails.
Yeah, because there really is no answer to that. There's no way to know.
There isn't. It's super weird. So, like, let's, like, lighten things for a minute. I'm sorry to usurp you changing things, but I want to know what everyone's last restaurant meal was.
Oh, I do not want to admit to that.
I don't remember.
I remember mine vividly. It was terrible.
Yeah, so do I. And, like, that's the thing that's been in my mind this entire time is, like, that was my last restaurant meal, and I'm so glad it was good. But also, like, I was literally, so my last restaurant meal was a friends and family opening of Gage and Tollner. Shawn, you recall Caroline Schiff.
Yes.
She's
wow.
my opponent / mentor. / friend, but like so she's a pastry chef of that restaurant, and I wanted to bring this up also for your community effort comment before, but like me and my boyfriend, we were literally sharing a table with another two-top to the point that like one of the women
in Brooklyn,
like the women in the two-top like hit me up later in like women's mentality and was like, hey, I think I sat next to you with Gage and Tollner, and I was like, yes, I recall you, ma'am. But like that was like there's no way to really do that in certain cities.
Right.
And it's kind of crazy when you think about the fact that space is so limited. Like I had to quarantine in a 2-bedroom apartment in Bed-Stuy with my boyfriend who just literally forsook his apartment to stay here. Mm-hmm. And a new roommate who decided that her old situation was worse than moving with someone with the plague. Like that's like how insane it is in these major cities, and I can't imagine how that's gonna work.
Yeah.
But
no, that's
also,
a good point.
On the lighter note, I'm just so excited that my last restaurant meal was like so worthwhile and so good, and I just want to know what everyone else's were.
So what was your last restaurant meal?
Yeah. Mine was
well, I will say we're in Brooklyn talking, but one of my girlfriends has a restaurant there. It's a very small restaurant, so they can't even do that many covers anyway. Yeah. So to be told now that they have to do 20% or 30%, they're like,
no.
They're saying, we're just going to keep doing what we're doing by doing the meals to go because this is insane.
Yeah.
And she has herself, the executive chef, and one other girl helping her do all these meals. Everybody else has been let go, and that's the only way they can survive. So that's it. That's all they have for right now. Yeah. That's it.
Yeah, I know we were...
My partner is in my quarantine group.
Mm-hmm.
He's in my...
Can I float that question, though? How many of you could survive at 25% occupancy? Like, is it worth opening doors?
All right, that's a strong no from Keith, I hear.
Nope.
That's a great question. I survived at 0% occupancy, which has been my saving grace.
I'm going to eat donuts for the rest of my life. Okay.
There you go. They're good.
There you
They're
go.
big, so you don't feel bad about it.
That's right.
Can I say this, though? That is an accolade to your business model. Because
it's true.
What people don't realize, what AKA the public doesn't realize, is what the cut is, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I agree with you. I would rather not open. I would rather find a way to serve the public, to make them happy, to keep them fed without that obligation. Because that's
indeed. Scarily saying
understand basic quality.
Yep.
You know, they don't understand the money that goes into a quality product.
Yep.
What I want to add.
Yeah. Go ahead, Case.
Oh, sorry. Just what I wanted to add on that. You called it an accolade to the business model. Quite honestly, I think we need to take a look at our business model and say we're running way too high of overheads. We're not making the margins for a restaurant to be successful. It's a dream for us to have these places, but we aren't making it, and it shows by all of the restaurants that are going to close after this. It shows what a fine margin it was.
Every other industry would have closed.
Yep.
It's the love. It's the passion. That's the only thing that keeps it going.
No,
like,
for sure.
You're dead on. Like, yeah.
No, for
Well,
sure.
all you guys do is know that for people that don't have any freaking clue, all you gotta do is look at all the people advocating for these much higher minimum wages. Like, once we start talking raising the minimum wage to a ridiculous point, like, don't you understand that no matter what, as a business owner, that business owner is still going to want to collect like 30% of their solid rate. 30% of their revenues is going to go to payroll, regardless of how much that payroll is. So it's
so high.
Exactly.
Just showing that when you raise that just shows a general ignorance of the public of what kind of costs are and what percentages and what real running the businesses are. We run our businesses on pennies. We do not run our businesses on dollars.
No.
And this, like, right now, it's like, I don't know how anybody who's running on purely dying out is surviving. That's why, the next model that we've created and that we're moving forward with is strictly to go, strictly delivery, strictly to go.
Yeah.
No brick and mortar thought, strictly ghost kitchen with tons
Can I
of
ask you guys a logistical question?
Yeah.
What challenge do you have with takeout? Like, with the actual equipment? When it comes to the individually wrapped, like, forks and stuff, then when it comes to we had suppliers that had pars. So we're getting 2 cases, 3 cases a week. Now we want 10 cases a week. We can't get them. Like, it's hard. Yeah. So now I can't even do takeout business because I can't get takeout containers. Like, that's the stuff people don't realize.
That's the real thing.
Wow.
Is, like, that cost. And I haven't been able to find I may have find gloves. I'm using, like, real baggy, awkward ass, like, the worst, just to get by because people are just buying out all products.
Right. Yeah, because everybody's going to go in your area. It's going to sound really bizarre, but have you looked at Amazon?
Oh, God.
It's insane.
Yeah, Amazon's messed up. Yeah.
Yeah, but Amazon has a ton of...
I feel like we all need to boycott. It's so bad.
Agree.
But
Do you know that this guy, that Bezos, is set to be the first trillionaire we've ever had during this time?
That's not just seem completely wrong. That's just so messed up.
Exactly. No, I agree.
Watching Catherine the Great. Can we just eat the rich?
Listen. Yes.
I approve.
Yes. Approved all the way around. All right, so real quick, to put a bit of a bow on it. So we don't know what the new normal is
Shawn
yet.
said, if I can just sum up, we're going to eat the wealthy.
Yeah, no. The Coarse Grind Podcast does not endorse that opinion. Yeah. Okay. Well, there you go. So all this said, we don't know what the new normal is going to look like. It's going to take change. Help me and the listeners, the lay people, understand what it is we can do to help you. And I'll throw it over to Casey to kick off. What can we do to help you in the industry? Like, how can we spend our money, spend our time, focus our efforts?
Oh, man. With all that is just such unknown right now, I feel like keeping in mind that there is an entire industry out there that is just trying to survive, that is trying to keep their heads above water. If you can kind of find a way as we open up to kind of spread the wealth, if you will. I mean, I think that by not using DoorDash so much, if we can get out, to really start to help each other get back up on our feet. I think that's the only way that we're going to be able to survive, and really not remembering those that were the big business chefs that went to the White House to say, we small businesses need money. We need to remember that they don't represent the small guy, the true small guy.
Not at all.
And Not at all. And we just need to remember that it's the ones on my square right here, these little tiny restaurants. We're already hearing buzzes of, we're not going to make it. We're not going to make it. So that's heartbreaking. And
hashtag follow this girl.
Yep.
Yeah. Man, I don't have the answers.
We're getting Twitter for you.
Exactly.
I've been pretty quiet lately because I'm tired, one. But two, I just feel like everybody attacks me. So you know what? That also gets exhausting. Because I can think of everybody.
Can I woman on top of that for a hot second? Woman in the business, we work sun up to sundown. Honest to God, I am not a mother. I cannot even imagine the blessed patience that it takes to be a mother in this situation. That being said, I am a business owner. I am a restaurant owner. I do all these things. I work like 13, 15, 18 hours a day until a pandemic happens, and you have to lay off 3/4 of your staff. So I am blessed because my restaurant is still doing okay. I feel guilty. I have survivor's guilt right now.
Mm-hmm.
I have survivor's guilt. I have survivor's guilt that I can pay my bills barely. But
there are a lot of you, though.
An extra 5 to 7 hours a day to do that.
Oh, it's like the most tired anyone's been.
Yeah.
And so
we don't have a team.
Complaining about it, but people are complaining about being bored and being sad and being idle, and how we're not essential and all that other shit. And I'm dude,
we're not essential.
Yeah, got it.
I don't even want to have this. But do you get me?
Yep. I feel you. I feel you. I feel you.
Not be level.
But the whole problem with the restaurant industry in general, I mean, up until, was it Ray? I think the Reagan years is, chefs were still considered unskilled labor. We're still treated that way. I mean, you still get treated like you're not, like you're just not necessary, that anybody can do that job until they have to try to do it themselves.
I feel like no one respects me until I give them my history. If I tell you my actual resume, then you think I'm cool.
Yeah.
It should take that. If this is where I've landed and this is what I choose to do with my life, then it doesn't matter all the other very expensive things I've done to get here. This is where I want to be. Please acknowledge this is legit.
Well, the fact that we don't have healthcare people in restaurants, and I see people arguing, well, you should just get a better job. It's like, we all got better jobs, you guys would all starve,
Yep.
And then
if everybody thinks that it's like serving Wendy's, they're not getting it.
Right.
We need people who understand the kitchen, because I would never be excited by owning Wendy's. I know that I can still serve fantastic, fast-served meals.
Yep.
Give me 15 minutes. I'll give you a damn good food. They don't see the difference, and that's where I don't. I'm a marketing brain, right? So I don't know where I'm supposed to market that.
I want to point out, by the way, just really quick, the people who are serving at Wendy's, who are serving at McDonald's, who are running these fast food restaurants, they're doing the same work of servers across the country. Like, it doesn't mean that their work is any less valuable than ours.
That's fair.
It just means that they're getting in on an entry-level basis to what is hopefully a hospitality position. My biggest hope from all of this is that people are looking at what's happening in the restaurant industry and realizing that we are a career-based skill set, and that we deserve the same respect, whether we're working at a Wendy's or a Subway or, John George.
Yep.
We are here and we're committed to making experiences for people, and that deserves respect. And I think that in this wake, I think it's pretty easy to turn around to someone and be like, I'm sorry, you'll pay somebody $65 to do your feet. You'll pay somebody $200 to cut your hair. Why are you not committed to paying, why are you trying to pay the minimum to have food prepared for you, this thing that nourishes you, that's fueling a literal experience, a literal life moment?
Yep.
And I think that now that people are seeing what it takes to maybe have to prepare their own food on a day-to-day basis, in and out, and what it takes to make a day special, I'm hoping that at the end of this, it means that at the very least, people will maybe move past that whole ugly stereotype of unskilled worker across the board. Whether they're making a burger at a Wendy's or they're making a burger at, Gramercy Tavern. Yep. They're still making it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And that to put that bow once again, that's been my goal with this. That's been my goal with episodes 1 through 130 and now with 3 COVID panels. It's like there are lay people out there who don't get it, and my goal is to pull the curtain back a little bit with the little bit of knowledge I have and the incredible icons that I'm honored to have on the show. You folks do the work. You folks show the work. You folks share the truth. And I think that's the biggest honor of being in my seat and, talking to you guys. So, I think at the end of the day, and I look to the 4 of you for confirmation on this, the best thing that we can do as the dining public is to listen, learn, and appreciate. Is that a fair statement?
I would say so. Just go out and enjoy your meal and just enjoy the time and don't nitpick it. And don't look for problems and just sit back, shut up, and eat.
There you go. That's a new shirt. I'm calling it right now. Sit back, shut up, and eat.
Sit down, shut up, and eat.
Man, awesome. Man, Casey, Keith, Tarran, Shannon, I love you all dearly in a very non-threatening way, and I thank you so much for taking the time to be here. Let me run down some plugs, and if I forget any, jump in with them. Casey, you're up first. I've got ChefCaseyThompson.com. You're obviously on Instagram. We now know you're on the Twitter. I'm pretty sure I follow you there, so I'm going to be looking out for you. And I believe Georgette was the name of the currently pending restaurant?
Good story. Exactly.
Okay, cool. Anything I missed, Casey?
I don't think so. Just come see us in Sonoma, please, when all this lightens up, guys.
When this is all done, we're all taking a road trip to Sonoma. Next up, Tarran Hatton, Bliss Bomb, all over the place. Bliss Bomb on Insta. Chef Tarran on Insta. Anything I'm missing, Tarran?
It's Bliss Bomb Joy on Insta, my love.
Bliss Bomb Joy, that's right.
And bliss.bomb.com.
Excellent. And man, check them out. I can't say it enough. If you follow my feed on Insta, check out the pictures of the donuts. Absolute savagery in the best possible way. Keith, my man, Culinary Live. Talk to me a little bit about that again.
The best website for that is Nerdy Truck. Is the Nerdy Truck, because that's where we're kind of building everything up off of with this new venture, Nerdy Truck.
Nerdy Truck. Excellent.
And we're going to be up off of there with our virtual food court, online lessons like Casey's doing, all sorts of good stuff.
Awesome. And you're all over the Insta, obviously. And, again, if we can help you pump any of that out, please let me know. I'd appreciate it, buddy.
Thanks, man.
All right. And finally, bringing up the rear, Shannon, brightspotsexton.com. You got a presence on the Facebook. Anything else I'm forgetting?
Yes, I feel like you've acknowledged my quarantine 19 in front of all these people. I bringing up the rear is like hit you a little too close to home.
Aw, I think we're all there with you, sister. We can talk more later, man.
We can all squeeze each other together soon, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yes. Brightspotsexton.com.
Brightspotsexton.com. And again, yep. Go ahead.
No, it's perfect. We got each other's backs. I love these people. I'm glad you brought us together. Thank you.
Incredible. Thank you so much, everybody. And Casey, thanks so much for, I know last time I pegged you were in the middle of a move. I hope that settled in nicely.
We did. We're very happy here. Thank you for hanging out with me just through all that.
Yes, absolutely.
I was moving in the middle of a pandemic. It was really weird.
That's fun.
Sorry.
All right. Well, hey, everybody.
Not so much.
Thank you again so much for coming along for the ride tonight.
So much.
I appreciate it. beyond words. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been episode number 130 of the Coarse Grind Podcast. With me again this evening, Chef Casey Thompson, Chef Tarran Hatton, Chef Keith Breedlove, and Shannon Maria Brower. Our producer, as always, this evening has been Johnny Leland Robinson, a.k.a. the Reverend Johnny Lamoria. Be sure to check out all his libertarian, artistic, and podcast happenings on the Facebook and the Insta. Next episode, we're going to take it back to literally number 1. My first ever guest comes back for a repeat. Stay tuned. Are you passing through central Pennsylvania and looking for one of the best dining experiences and craft brew menus around? Look no further. Turkey Hill Brewing Company and 991 Central Road in Bloomsburg, PA has everything you could ask for and then some. Service, food, beer together. Unbelievable. Be sure to check them out. Call them today for reservations. 570-387-8422. Call today.